climate change, it is not a distant threat for tomorrow. It is the reality of today. The question isn't if we act, but how fast. Today, we look at Botho University. They aren't just talking about sustainability. They are tearing up the old rules and retrofitting their existing infrastructure. They are proving that the fastest way to a green future is by upgrading the present.
And I'm proud to say, as we stand here, not only has our impact been, just the introducing this new way of water saving, it is quite measurable because we brought them up to 85% in savings. So it's measurable not in just water capacity, but also in cost-cutting measures.
Climate change, sustainability. And my interest into joining it is because I want to bring forth change that is impactful to everyone and those living around me.
Combining the two for me, helps me bridge a gap in between helping the sustainable space, the green sustainable space, by also integrating data-driven decision making.
I always say waste bothers us if it's in your sight. So landfills provide an out of sight, out of mind view. So when you don't see the waste, it does not bother you.
Even globally, talk on renewable energy is massive, even just in Africa, which is great.
We like to benchmark. I think that's the problem with our government. Instead of doing pilot projects locally, make sure that when you design with the green measures.
Water. Earth's surface is covered in 75% water, right? And in that 75%, 3% is only drinkable. And we still don't have full access to that 3%. When we come to the end user, toilets are number one water wasters. How so? A single flush. When you're flushing urine, that's about 100 milliliters. And you're flushing it with about 6 liters. So, next gen, that's a lot. Let's maximize savings when flushing urine. And how do we do that? We retrofit, like with Botho University. We didn't do away with anything and put in the new. No, we retrofitted the toilets. So we do away with the water system of your pre-existing urinal and insert this little device of ours to make sure that you have 100% savings. We now have our 2-liter microflush toilets, which means whether you're flushing liquids or solids, 2 liters is all you need, not the 6 to 18 liters that we're all used to. That's clean water that could be used somewhere else. So as a water saving company, being NextGen, go for maximum savings with aerators. So the aerators that Botho University uses currently from back then, actually, which is 2018, is an atomizer that uses 0.2 liters per minute. So that's maximum savings.
Now let's see the regulation and how much it runs. At 3, 2, 1, start. Three, 2, 1, stop. And we have 0.2 liters. So that's over 4 liters water saving.
When I want a toilet, I now have to be conscious. Does it use 2 liters? Or is it the old model using 6 to 18 liters? So that's what, it's a new culture. It's a new mindset. They're now part and parcel, and sustainability is that everyday life.
For decades, modern architecture ignored the African sun. Glass facades and uninsulated roofs trap heat, demanding massive energy-draining air conditioning. But the blueprint for passive cooling already exists in indigenous knowledge.
Let's go back to our vernacular architecture or our traditional homesteads. Our grandmothers, our grandfathers used to build with local materials. It's cool when it's hot. It gives you that essence of like, I feel comfortable. Then they started using corrugated sheet without insulation. That means that you are taking away the thermal properties.
Bridging traditional wisdom with new technology to cut energy waste. Botho University isn't just retrofitting buildings, it's using its campus as a living laboratory to prepare young people for green futures.
GAIO stands for Green Africa Youth Organization, which is mostly led by the youth.
We are living in a world that is revolving at a fast pace, but we don't have to make it a disposable planet. It's a planet and it should be safe for everyone else to use it.
Instead of one person building only, we are united and trying to help other people learn from the things that we are doing so that they can carry on and also into the next generations.
In class, we're taught to be critical thinkers, to be a critical thinker, you have to be a problem solver ultimately. So as a aspiring data analyst, it helps me bridge a gap in between helping the sustainable space, the green sustainable space, by also integrating data-driven decision making. And when you do that, it is ultimately better for everyone. We do that, we're bridging a gap where we don't only have to outsource from outside, but we help keep and nurture the skills within the country. And by so doing, we can able to make better decisions, like GAIO, for example.
With the primary focus of recycling waste. So our basis of waste management is based on what we call the 5 R's. Most people refer them to as the 3 R's, being reduce, reuse, and recycle. We've added an extra 2 R's to these 3. So our first R is refuse, as in you refuse to generate waste in the first instance. So where you could, for instance, buy something without packaging, you opt to buy that commodity without packaging. So that's what the first R is, which stands for refuse. The second R is reduce. Where you cannot avoid packaging, you do buy your commodity packaged. However, where you can, you reduce the amount of packaging. And where you can't, you opt for biodegradable or recyclable packaging. Simple thing that we can all relate to is a paint bucket. So what you then use with the paint bucket could be, in the villages, people use it to store water. Some could use it to plant trees. You could reuse it in any way that suits your lifestyle or your needs, or what you currently could find use for it at the time. So the fourth R is recycling. So the waste that you could not refuse, reduce, or reuse then falls into recycling. So this waste is collected and taken to recycling centers, who then further process this waste to either something totally new or what it was before. So our last R is recover. So under recover, we take waste that we've generated, but we turn it into, we further process it into a different commodity. From a household level, recover could be your waste, your food waste, your garden waste. What we then do with that R is turn food waste into compost. They harvest the sunlight to generate energy, so it also falls under recover. Waste management remains a challenge within our country, primarily because of culture. Botswana are resistant to change. We've had a lot of awareness has been done around waste and how to manage waste. We will not be winning in the waste management space in terms of reducing our carbon footprint. From a policymaker point, We could start by making it law, making it mandatory. For as long as waste segregation, landfills are legal, we will continue having this problem.
And actually I realized that the same thing that we normally deem to be safe to dispose, which is food waste, organically, as the perpetrators of that, once you get to the landfill, they just heap the food waste there and then they dump over it. So it becomes anaerobic. So it creates a methane bomb. So I was intrigued. And I wondered, okay, why are we creating such bombs with something that we deem safe? What can we do? And then we fell upon black soldier fly. Quite surprised. Like, what does a fly got to do with waste? And then we realized Western Africa, it is some sort of a backyard type of exercise that they do. Like we do with our gardening, spinaches and whatnot. So they do that backyard and it does wonders. And it's the fastest way aerobically to dispose of your organic waste. And it's not only about food waste, by the way. Even fecal matter, even animal waste, even plant waste. You can actually mix those two together, do a ratio. Like you and I have balanced diet at home. It's basically the same thing. It decomposes that and it brings you the best value out of it when you've combined all that waste. But now, imagine too much of carbon dioxide, and then if it is disposed of in a bad way, now it goes to methane. More than 10,000 times harmful than carbon dioxide, right? And imagine now that Pilani, Hamudu landfill are within the vicinities of livelihoods. So we would then say to the people around that, as opposed to always looking for someone else to come and solve it for you, as a start, do not dispose of any organic waste to the landfill, because that is actually your waste that you could turn into any valuable product that you have. It doesn't have to be through black soldier fly. You can actually do your compost pit at home. You can actually feed it directly to your animals rather than going and buying your NPK fertilizers and live feed. You can recycle that within your communities. So you would not ever have that issue now going there. But because already we have the issue, we are saying now from BugLife perspective, we can actually initiate it through the community-based channels and say, segregate your waste. All organic waste should never go to landfill. Let's have a central place where we can put that and throw in a worm. That's just the way we do things for you. We're not doing anything scientific. It is basically an insect just living its life. So we're taking advantage of that. The import bill. We did the same with fertilizers. The import of synthetic NPK, humongous. And what does it also do? Messes the climate, messes the environment. So that fly, when it becomes a worm, then it dries up and then it becomes a pupae, right? Once it becomes a pupae, it goes back to a stage where it's a fly. And you will never do fallow farming once you have that. You don't have to leave the soil and say, no, let me have it recuperate. No. It takes the soil back to its original place. That's where the fertilizer comes in. So we are basically saying we are not taking away what is already existing.
Well, to start off, I think it's great to point out the fact that Botswana has one of the highest solar irradiation levels in the world, right? And this, if we take advantage of this, it positions us to extensively play or participate in the sector. And I think that's what the government is really doing and pushing right now, you know, with our integrated resource plan. We're pushing for self-reliance and we're pushing for export as well, which is where great economic opportunities can come from. Initiatives like Mission 300 come to Africa with the aim of powering 300 million homes across, right? And as Botswana, we have our own energy compact that we will be playing a role towards Mission 300. Private sector needs to pool funding, right? I think this is where they can sort of have a power play. Financing structures, the funding to play in implementation. Public sector needs to bring regulation to play. I saw the climate team. It was a football team, climate football team. And captain was finance, obviously. That's the key driver. There were other players, just transition, energy efficiency, circular economies. But interesting for me was the goalkeeper, who was knowledge sharing. And I 100% believe in education, and I won't be compromised in any way. As much as we want to deploy renewable energy technology, awareness and capacity building and that type of education needs to come before that. Firstly, let's commend Botho University for sure for being a pioneering educational institution in, constructing, developing and implementing renewable energy for their building, right? They have solar and they're taking progressive steps towards being certified as a green building in whole.
It is important to remember that Botswana does not exist in isolation. As part of a region or continent and broader global world, geopolitical trends and shifts affect us and the rest of the continent. How is today's landscape affecting climate action for Botswana and the rest of Africa?
We are observing some global shift from leading countries that were initially leading on sustainability, on climate change, leading on, I would say, creating or triggering climate change, but also leading on solutions. We are seeing those shift in terms of setbacks on sustainability, on regulation, and which is quite concerning. On the other hand, we are observing some regional shifts as well in Africa, which are very positive because we are observing a focus now on intra-Africa trade and to develop homegrown solutions to problems and issues that we observe in Africa. I have in mind the countries like DRC with the critical minerals, solutions with the forest, the rainforest that we have there in Central Africa, and hydroelectric resources that can be harnessed to really drive development in Africa. And it is really the moment now to invest more in SMEs, but also think of women empowerment and youth empowerment. And that is where Botho University really comes into play.
A disposable planet is not an option. We don't need to wait for the cities of tomorrow to solve the climate crisis of today. But the university has shown us the practical, immediate path forward. By retrofitting their infrastructure, cutting water waste by 85%, upgrading energy efficiency, and integrating indigenous climate wisdom, they have transformed their campus into a blueprint for climate resilience. More importantly, they are proving that the most critical upgrade isn't mechanical, it's educational. They're equipping young people with the data-driven practical skills needed to lead the green economy.